Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another review. And this time I'm reviewing my introduction to Kevin Smith, which is Mallrats. Now, I didn't know who the hell Kevin Smith was around, I would say, 1999 or 2000. My brother's girlfriend, who's now his wife, wanted Christmas or birthday gifts, and she wanted Kevin Smith. It's like, well, who the hell is Kevin Smith? And got gifts for her. And I'm like, okay, who is this Kevin Smith guy? And there was a VHS. I believe the store, I don't even know if the store's around anymore, but it was a store called Shopko. And there was a VHS tape of Mallrats. And it wasn't this cover, it was a cover with Shannon Doherty and I think Jason Lee, and I forget the actual look of the cover, but yeah, it was not this. I'm like, Mallrats, okay, it's a bunch of kids in a mall. Simple, but yet I like those simple ideas. They intrigue me, they interest me. Maybe it's because there's so many films that try to do 120 things that when it simplifies, like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder what they can do with this little bit as opposed to all of this. And I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. That was very funny. And then it made me watch Clerks on the Independent Film Channel, and then made me find his other films. So this was, and apparently for a lot of people, this was sort of the gateway to Kevin Smith, and I still think this is a very entertaining, fun movie, Mallrats. Now this is the DVD. I do want to get the Blu-ray sometime, which I put on my Amazon wish list, because it has the same features as this DVD, but this is a flipper disc, and it's scuffed up and scratched, so skipping. So I do want to get the Blu-ray of this. But this one, Clerks came out, was a big hit. Then this guy, Jim Jacks, who is no longer with us, but Jim Jacks has produced other films. I believe he produced Village of the Damned, John Carpenter's film. I could be wrong. But I know he's produced other films. I believe some Universal movies. And he's like, hey, how about, what's your idea of a movie? He's like, well, kind of do Clerks in a mall. Okay, let's do that. And they gave him like 5-6 million, and Kevin Smith's like, no, we don't need 6 million. We can do this for much, much cheaper. It's like, no, it's gotta be at least 6 million, Kevin. Or it'll seem like it's really dirt cheap. Which is very strange, because nowadays that would never happen. And Jim Jacks produced, like, we want to see an R-rated comedy, kind of like a Smart Porkies, as Jim Jacks would call it, Smart Porkies. And they're back in there films like Animal House, which, watching it again, it does remind me of those comedies. Sort of Up the Creek, Animal House, those kind of 80s type of comedies, only done with the bit of 90s dialogue that Kevin Smith could come up with. Because it's zany, it's silly, but it's fun and entertaining. This really does make me think of those kind of comedies from the 80s. Again, like Up the Creek, Animal House, and maybe a little bit of Porky's, but not too much of that one. But this film came out and it bombed badly. Critically, it got demolished. Which ultimately he kind of, oh shit, took her on the chin. And ultimately that's where he made Chasing Amy for like $250,000. Like, dirt cheap. Then that got him back on the horse again. Well, Mallrats, definitely a fun movie. I liked it. Definitely one of my favorites of Kevin Smith's. Jason Lee, who was just a skateboarder at this time, he got the job as the lead. Brody, he did a great job. I know in the theatrical cut there's like a 15-minute intro where this other guy, T.S., Jeremy London, is with his girlfriend, played by Claire Forlani, and they're going to do this play with muskets and old-time wardrobe costume, and there's like the governor or something, and oh shit, I got my prop gun in your hair, and people thought he was going to shoot the governor, and that helped Michael Rooker, who was hosting the thing, lose money from the governor, and that's why he's also the father of Claire Forlani, so he's like, you're never going to see my daughter again, and we're going to do this game show at the mall. All that was cut out, thankfully, because it wasn't really that funny, it wasn't needed. The theatrical cut is much more of a faster pace, got to the mall quicker, just had Jason Lee do a little intro about malls. Trying to think, there's something about that. Yeah, the Eden Prairie Mall. I believe it was in Minnesota. So it was like 20 or so miles from Mall of America is where they shot it. That's not where it takes place, but that's where they shot it. I'm like, hey, Minnesota, that's close. You know, that's the next state that I'm at. And I thought the intro was fun with the comic book panels of the cast. I like the song used. I think this has a good soundtrack as well. And again, Jason Lee before that talking about how he had a cousin who would always put a cat up his ass. He's like, why do you keep doing this? And the guy says, well, how do I get the gerbil out? My cousin was a weird guy. And then it cuts to just a truncated version of the Jeremy London Claire Forlani, where it's just, hey, we want to go to Florida. Hey, you said this girl that on TV she looked 10 pounds heavier. Yeah. Well, TS, you know this girl, she had the fattest ass, and she kept swimming. She died. And Jeremy Lin said, she's fucking dead. And Claire Forlani's like, yeah, and I have to do the show, my father, the dating game show, and Jeremy Lin says some stupid shit, and she's like, fine, fuck you, we're done. Around that time, you did a look at Michael Rooker's ass. Michael Rooker, he plays a fun villain. Great actor, cliffhanger, Guardians of the Galaxy, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Just I love Michael Rooker. My favorite is still his role in Cliffhanger, but he does a great job here. Head shaved, as if he was Lex Luthor. A lot of fun. Jason Lee does a great job as Brody. He's entertaining, he's funny. I still think it's his best role. Still think it's his best performance. Nowadays, it's almost as if he's kind of can't shake off the "My name is Earl Twain" or just something about it. Like this was before that. And I like the Jason Lee before that. And before him getting stuck doing Alvin the Chipmunk movies. But Brody is a lot of fun. Comic book collector, very, very obsessed with comic books. His girlfriend, played by Shannon Doherty, just pissed at him. He's just trying to finish his Sadie game, and she's like, well, here I am, I always come over, you won't even tell your mom about me, and here I'm wasting my life with you. Actually framed his letter that he got saying they broke up, and Jeremy Lin's like, oh, this thing says, no job, no money, and Brody's like, also says I have no dick. But see, that comes after the financial, so you see what the priorities are. Oh, she called you callow. So? And then he tells him what it really means, and then Jason Lee, as Brody, goes, really? Shit. That was the only part of the letter I thought was complimentary. And once again, I think what works is the characters work well, the dialogue is fun, fast, and furious. Not as furious as Clerks, but still fun, still rated R. I love the setting of the mall. I think the mall is a great setting for a movie. I always thought they could do a Die Hard film in a mall. The closest you got was that Dean Cain Christmas made-for-cable movie. I think it took place around Christmas. I forget what the hell it was called. I think I actually have like Breakaway or Break something. I'm not sure. I think it was like Dean Cain and Eric Roberts. I can't remember. I can't remember 100%. But it was like it's sort of a cheap movie. But I don't know. Since Dawn of the Dead, just thought it was such a great setting for a mall. Just because you have different stories, different backgrounds, different settings, different places, different venues that you could have for your scenes. I think also because where I was living at the time, there's like no malls around. So I'm like, oh man, there's a place I'll never get to because there's no fucking malls around where I live. Back in the day when I first saw this. Even now, there's like one mall and it's a piece of shit. So I still have no malls to go to. It's like, I want to go to that mall. This is a cool mall. So I think that is part of it as well. You introduce the Ethan Suplee, who's this guy who's obsessed with those old things where it's the artwork that you have to look at and ease your eyes, and you just see a hidden picture in, and he can't do it, and everyone else can, but he can't do it even though he's trying so hard. Jay and Silent Bob, a lot of fun. Definitely more of them in this movie than in Clerks. I think Jason Mewes does a great job. He's dancing. Oh, stage diving on Jason Lee. By that point, Jason Lee and Jeremy London finds out that they're making that show. It's like, oh, we need to, hey, if you don't want your girlfriend on the show, have someone wreck it. Then they won't have the show. Then maybe you can get your girlfriend back. They get Jay and Silent Bob to do it, and Jay's like, oh yeah, we don't want to bust that stage like a high school kid. Shall I call you Logan Weaponess? No, Wolverine, snitty snit, snoochie boochies. And that was the kind of stuff that Jay would say back in the day. That's where Kevin Smith got it from. Ethan Suplee, who's been in quite a few stuff, he's definitely lost a lot of weight since then. Yeah, like these little kids who see the paintings, like, oh, it's a schooner. And he's like, you dumb bastard. Right at the little kids, you dumb bastard. It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat. The schooner is a sailboat. You know what? There's no Easter Bunny. You still have fun dialogue. You have the Superman, Wonder Woman dialogue where Jason Lee's talking with Jeremy London, says, oh, well, he can't have sex. If he blows, it's like a shotgun right through her back. Only one powerful enough is Wonder Woman, unless he has a kryptonite condom. But that would kill him. You have hijinks with Jay and Silent Bob trying to wreck the stage. Sven Thorson, who's been in a lot of Arnold films, he was in The Running Man. He was a security guy. I was like, I guess I gotta score some steroids, and leaves. He was in Conan the Barbarian. What was that one TV show back in the day? Captain Power, I believe. Like Saturday morning TV show back in the day. It's been a lot of stuff, Sven Thorson. He plays LaForce, the security guard here. Like, Silent Bob at one point tries to hit him with quarters, and he misses. His head goes into a dressing room with Joy Lauren Adams in. There's another moment where he's gliding on a rope, and like he's Batman. He misses and hits his head, and this is where you see Joy Lauren Adams' tits. And she's like, you fucked her, and hits him and knocks him out. You have the scene where this Renee Humphrey plays this girl named Trish the Dish, which is actually, when you watch this now, is kind of crazy, because it's a 15-year-old. I think she was older than that, but she's playing a 15-year-old who is writing a book about orgasms called Borgasm, about all the sexual escapades that this 15-year-old is going through. And I'm like, again, she doesn't look 15, and she's probably 18, 19 when she did it. But still, for purpose of the film, it's a 15-year-old writing a book called Borgasm and tapes herself having sex. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. No movie would do that nowadays. So even though it's not as furious dialogue as in Clerks, it's still, how the hell did they get away from that? And that's where Jason Lee keeps talking about the speech about this kid. He's on the escalator again. You know how many kids get sucked up by the escalator, get caught? It just won't let it go. Ben Affleck, he's in it as the guy trying to take Shannon Doherty away from Jason Lee. One moment, he's in it sporadically. He's pretty much the villain. One guy says, "Isn't the customer always right?" And Ben Affleck goes, "The customer's always an asshole." Jason Lee gets with Shannon Doherty. They have sex in the elevator, which leads to Ben Affleck knowing something's up and beating the shit out of Jason Lee. And then J.M. Silent Bob's like, "Who did this to you?" And Jason Lee's like, "Oh, the Easter Bunny." And you see Jay steal some candy. He's like, "Oh, he's fucking dead." And later on, they do beat up the Easter Bunny. Yeah, the whole steam palm thing where Jason Lee's explaining what steam palm is, put a hand up his ass, and then, that smell won't come out for days. And later on does it to Michael Rooker while giving him chocolate pretzels that he does eat and later on gets sick from, which is why he has a chocolate covered pretzel there. And apparently Michael Rooker still gets that to this day. People send him chocolate covered pretzels. And Michael Rooker, he's on the interview, not enough for my liking, but yeah, if you ask him, he's still proud of the film. He's willing to do Mallrats 2. And I've heard there's a Mallrats 2. It was going to be a movie, then now it's going to be a TV show, or a Netflix show, or 10 episode. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know. With his recent track record, I have no idea. I really don't. Who knows, maybe Clerks 2 was good, so maybe this is what he needs to do to get on the high horse again. I don't know. If it is, surprise me, I'll be the first to admit it. One of these two, another Michael Rooker doesn't want those guys around, so gets Jason Lee and Jeremy London arrested, and that's where Jason Mewes hits LaFours. That does the "You'll kneel before Zod, Snoochie Boochies." Runs off with Silent Bob, and that's where Silent Bob gets like the bat gun and has a scene here. This is a fun little scene. Jason Lee takes Jeremy London. They hide in the dirt mall. And they see this topless psychic who has his third nipple. You have the scene where Jason Lee meets Stan Lee. And Jason Lee keeps asking all these questions about superhero sex organs. And Stan Lee does a fine enough job talking about love and how he had a girl and she got away, and I wish he had one more moment to be with her, and kind of just Jason Lee to go for Shannon Doherty, get her back. And then the third act, you have this game show where Jeremy London, Jason Lee, and Brown O'Halloran playing another character but coming back in. Jason Mewes knocked out the other two guys, gave him some weed. These guys are lightweights. And Jeremy London's like, "Thank you." He's like, "Oh, don't worry, but hey, next time you pop your lady, you make her call her Jay, okay? Snoochie Boochies." And then you have the fun stuff when they're doing where Jason Lee keeps giving Brown O'Halloran shit. Like, where you come up with this shit? You hate gay people? No. So you love them? Yes. I mean, no. See these closets, hate case. It ends with, ultimately, Claire Forlani taking Jeremy London back. Jason Lee being able to get the tape from Renee Humphrey that shows that Ben Affleck was fucking the girl, an underage girl, and gets Ben Affleck arrested. Shannon Doherty takes Jason Lee back. And at the end shows like Jeremy London, Claire Forlani got married at Universal backlot with the fake jaws popping out of the water. That Jason Lee and Shannon Doherty got their own TV show, talk show. Because the producers there hated the show, but they liked Jason Lee. Which is like most people who saw the movie, they hated the movie, but they liked Jason Lee. And then Jay and Silent Bob, they had a monkey, which later on would be in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I know there's a comic book between this. No, that's the next movie. Never mind. Scratch that. Between Chasing Amy and Dogma, there was a book called Chasing Dogma. But the only problems I see with the film, the third act with the game show is not the most exciting finale because it's just them on a game show. And it's a very cheap-looking game show. Like, Claire Forlani is just in this, like, big pink chair from Pee-wee's Playhouse. And Jeremy London, he's alright. But he's, compared to Jeff Anderson, compared to Brian O'Halloran, compared to Jason Lee, compared to Jason Mewes, Jeremy London is kind of the flat guy. He's alright. I've seen much, much worse, but he's not fantastic. He's not great. He's just sort of there. Yeah, he's tolerable. I'm okay with him. I'm just saying compared to Jason Mewes, Jason Lee, Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, and others, Ben Affleck, he's kind of the lesser guy. He fits. He works for the film, but I'm just saying he's not. He's the less interesting guy. Jason Lee is the much more interesting guy. Because it seems like it was almost be like Jeremy London's movie, because it's him and Claire Forlani who have the first actual scene. It's about him getting her back and the game show. But really, you give more fuck about Jason Lee's character. And apparently everyone else did too throughout the making of the film. That's why he's, standing up and tall and center. So it's like almost as going to be Jeremy London, but really it's more Jason Lee's movie. It's almost like they knew in the middle and then changed stuff. The dialogue, still fun. Doesn't have that furious super punch that Clerks does, but still a fun bits of dialogue. Michael Rooker would like to have seen him in more of the first half of the movie because he doesn't pop up till like 40 minutes in, unless the scene they show his ass, and that's because there were scenes that they did, but they cut out because it wasn't funny, and then they had to rework some stuff. But I'm just saying, as the product now, it'd be nice to see Michael Rooker like a little bit earlier in the movie. So these are like little teeny things, but really it's the third act with the game show. It works for what it is. It didn't need to be like, oh shit, the mall's gonna blow up type of thing, but it's just not the most exciting dynamic. But what works is the characters are fun. Jason Lee did a great job, propelled his career deservedly so. Jay and Silent Bob, nice to see more of them in the film. I think they work well together as a team. Nice to see people like Michael Rooker in there and Sven Thorsen. The mall setting is a great setting for a film. Still a lot of funny dialogue talking about Superman, his low blowing a shotgun low in a woman's back, or crazy dialogue like that. It's still a fun, entertaining movie. Still a funny film. Still an enjoyable flick. Still a film that's easy to watch. It's easy to watch. It's a lot of people say this is the film that's easiest to watch for people because, hey, if you like comic books, there's a lot of comic book stuff. It's just shits and giggles, nothing dire serious. It's just, there for the chuckles. Like Chasing Amy, after this is much more of a serious movie. Dogma, much more into the religion aspect. Clerks, much more of just, there's still serious stuff about relationships. Not as much as Chasing Amy, but Mallrats, you know, they call it a dick and fart joke movie. But an entertaining one, a fun, fast-paced. I really enjoy Mallrats. It's hard to review comedies. That's the thing. Is I wasn't sure if I was going to review these Kevin Smith films. Just it's hard to review a comedy. But these are fun movies. These are entertaining films. So really enjoy them. So that's Clerks and Mallrats. And next up will be, I believe, Chasing Amy will be next. So thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.